Sade, I'm not, okay? But I thought you'd like it. You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still, like dust, I'll rise. Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? 'Cause I walk like I've got oil wells pumping in my living room. Just like moons and like suns with the certainty of tides. Just like hopes springing high, still I'll rise. Did you want me to be broken? Bowed head and lowered eyes, shoulders falling down like teardrops, weakened by my soulful cries. Does my haughtiness offend you? Don't you take it awful hard? 'Cause I laugh like I got gold mines digging in my own backyard. You may shoot me with your words, you may cut me with your eyes, you may kill me with your hatefulness, but still, like air, I'll rise. Does my sexiness upset you? Does it come as a surprise that I dance like I got diamonds at the meeting of my thighs? Out of the huts of history's shame, I rise. Up from a past that's rooted in pain, I rise. I'm a black ocean leaping and wide, welling and swelling, I bear in the tide. Leaving behind nights of terror and fear, I rise. Into a day that's wondrously clear, I rise. Bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave, I am the dream and the hope of the slave. I rise, I rise, I rise. Good afternoon. Welcome back to the start of a new school year. I hope you've all had some time to relax this summer, enjoy your family and your friends, and I trust that these past few days have extended your professional growth. Now, you're probably wondering why I began my remarks with Maya Angelou's poem, Still I Rise. Besides the fact that she is one of my sheroes, this particular poem has served as inspiration and motivation for me in some of my most challenging times, both professionally and personally. I know that I'm standing on the shoulders of slaves and ancestors who made incredible sacrifices for me, and I have to stand tall, and I have to stand with my head held high. Now, you're probably wondering why the Sade song, Is It a Crime?, was playing in the background as I approached the podium. I'm not going to sing, I'm not going to perform it, but I'm going to get to why I played that song in particular. You all know that the past few weeks, months, and maybe even the last year has been full of challenge and been full of lots of controversy for me. And like most of you, when things get really dark and when things appear to be at their darkest, I ask myself, why? That's the question. In this case, though, I ask myself, what crime have I committed? What crime had I committed that could bring forth such vicious personal attacks from people who don't even know me, not to mention understand me? I thought long and hard, and I asked myself, is it a crime to sincerely believe that the 8th largest district in this United States of America is capable of educating all its children? Is it a crime to believe that all children deserve a high-quality education? Is it a crime to focus on the students with the highest needs? Is it a crime to give parents a voice? Is it a crime to actively engage parents at all levels of the school district in the process of educating their children? Is it a crime to believe that if given key supports, all of our children can achieve at high levels? Is it a crime to hold adults accountable for student results? Is it a crime for this superintendent to do the superintendent's job of educating children, but not playing politics? Is it a crime to stand up for children instead of stooping down into the political sandbox and selling our children for a politician's campaign victory? Is it a crime to believe that regardless of a child's race, regardless of their ethnicity, regardless of their economic status, they all should have access to the same high-quality instructional programs found in our best public and private schools? Is it a crime, folks? Is it a crime to believe that all the district's resources should be allocated equitably, including contracts? Is it a crime? Is it a crime to expend additional resources on the schools that have failed students and communities for decades? I could go on listing the crimes that I think I might have committed, but that's not the point that I want to make this afternoon. The truth is, I have proudly served and devoted 43 years of my life serving young people, taking on the toughest classrooms, the toughest schools, and yes, the toughest districts, from sea to shining sea. And as I thought about the answers to the "is it a crime" question, the question that's dominated my thoughts over the past few weeks, and probably the last few months, I had an epiphany. I had one of those, aha moments when you say, I get it. I really get it. I realize, my dear colleagues, that I am guilty. Guilty as charged. It is true. I am guilty of wanting for other people's children what I wanted for my own. I am guilty of believing that in a world where riches determine your worth, every child is worthy of a quality education. I am guilty of putting children, not politics, first. I am guilty of using the district's resources to level the playing field for all children. I am guilty of wanting all students to reach proficiency. I'm guilty. I'm guilty of believing that when children fail, it's the system's failure, and the adults should be held accountable. I'm guilty of being unapologetic for my unwillingness to compromise when it comes to the education of these children. I'm actually guilty of believing that all of our children matter, whether they have special needs, whether they have limited or speak no English, whether they are poor, whether they are children of color, or whether they're not, whether they go to special admit and magnet schools, or whether they attend our lowest performing schools. I'm guilty. I'm guilty of doing this job, even if it means that I won't be able to keep the job. I'm guilty. So, I say, go ahead, sentence me, I dare you, or set me free. But I admit to you today that I am guilty of just being me.